I'm waiting for my heart to be broken. I'm sorry. I want to be excited. I am excited for this movie, but I'm worried, man. Because, I was excited for a lot of video game movies, and that didn't really pan out. But then Detective Pikachu and Sonic proved that you can make a good video game movie. Sonic has 2 of them. So, can I be hooked on the brothers? Can I be? From Jakks Pacific and their Super Mario movie toy line, this is Mario and Luigi, and they're $20. I just get this out of the way now, they are $20 figures, and me, specifically, I quite like Mario, and I like Jakks Mario figures, so I've been collecting these guys for a while, and I'm used to the Mario figures being around, $10, $12. Hell, it was a lot cheaper when I got this Mario, because this is the original World Nintendo Mario. So these guys going up to 20. At first, I balked at that and thought, well, where's the money going? I can get a Marvel Legends for a little bit more than that. But when you really look, right, I can see where the budget's going. We'll get back to that. Taking a closer look at Mario, and from what we've seen of him in the trailer, this looks perfect. I like how they've basically just taken the original design and just added a little bit more. Wrinkles in the shirt, stitches on the overalls. It's, nothing too groundbreaking, but it makes sense. I especially love how up here in the hat you can see the stitch lines for how the hat came together, and as well as the wrinkles. You also have a good detail for the hair. A thing, and this is a selling point for the figure. Let me get a better light on this. This is a selling point for the figure. Is on the box it mentions super realistic eyes. Notice how the eyes seem to follow you? So, from what I can tell, right? They have the eyes, and then they have these very clear plastic lenses. And then they have the face, which is why the eyes seem so recessed. There's a lot of plastic between the top layer and the bottom layer, and it's made it to where the eyes do in fact follow you around. And I see what they're going for, right? And it's actually in line with a lot of Mario gimmicks. It reminds me of like Mario 64 and things like that. And even in modern Mario games like Mario Kart, the characters are programmed to look at you as you drive by. So this is a very on-brand gimmick for a Mario figure. But, I don't know, there's something unnerving about it. Just the fact that it follows you around. At the same time, what a cool idea. What a cool idea, and how well executed it is. For how cheap this figure is, it really is kind of impressive how the pupils really do seem to follow you. And I hope it's coming well through the camera, because it's so pronounced in person. And if I were a kid, as soon as I get over the kind of weirdness of it, I think I'd be blown away. What other action figure do I have who seems to have that level of life, that level of just anything like that, So overall, I'm really taken with Mario. And of course, he does have one accessory, that being the plunger. Plunger isn't really anything. It's cute. It does go into the hand. There's a part of me that would have preferred, say, a hammer. But at the same time, maybe the plunger is going to play a major role in the movie. We already saw it in the trailer. So I'm not going to be, too hard on that. Taking a closer look at Luigi next, and very similar story here. A lot of great stitching detail, folding for the clothes, also the same great eye trick. It's a little bit less pronounced on Luigi than it is on Mario. I think it's just because his eyes and head are so much thinner, there's less room for those lenses to really work that magic. But it's still definitely there, especially if you get it from this angle. But overall, I think I like Luigi more, and it's probably my bias because I do like Luigi as a character more than I like Mario. But I do enjoy this figure's proportions more. I definitely like his colors more, and his accessory is far, far better. So he comes with the big flashlight, which we've seen Luigi with this exact flashlight before. If you've ever played Luigi's Mansion, or even if you've seen the Super Smash Bros. Castlevania trailer, he uses that flashlight. So I think it's an awesome addition for a Luigi figure that we've never had before. And I don't know. There's something about how the movie, just in terms of the commercials and the merchandise right now, how they're so reverent of the games, that it gives me a lot of hope for the movie. And I love just how much you can see something and be like, oh, so that character is being, the character we're expecting. And it's hard for Mario and Luigi, because even though they do have strong characters, they're not exactly deep characters. They're They're all the best aspects of Golden Age cartoon characters, like your Popeyes, your Mickeys, your Bugs Bunnies, and Daffy Ducks. Where they're big and bold, they can be in any situation you need them to be in, and they'll work. But they're also not exactly going to have a discussion of, what it means to be a human being, or what is the nature of a man, a miserable puddle of secrets. They're not dropping those bars. A big thing I really wanted to compare with these guys is just how they look with Jakks' other Mario figures, the ones based on the game that started off as World of Nintendo and is now just their own toy line, which I really enjoy, and it's one of my favorite things to collect. I think it would just be fun to see the differences and just how they've used different materials and articulation. Taking a look at the Marios first, and a thing I feel like I need to point out is, keep in mind, that's a $10 Mario, this is a $20 Mario. And already, if you look, the paint quality is a lot less sharp on this Mario. There's a lot more paint splotch, there's paint, black streaks on the nose, the articulation feels a lot looser, but at the same time, I'd argue you probably get more articulation because you get universal shoulders, full 90 at the elbow, a swivel at the wrist, swivel at the head. It's supposed to be a ball joint, but he doesn't really do up or down, universal at the hip, and a deep knee. So, that's how many points would that be? That'd be 1, 2, let's say 7. That'd be 7 points. With this Mario, you have a little bit more of a ball joint, but still it's basically just a swivel. Up and down doesn't really work. Universal at the shoulder, again, but it does go further up. The elbow doesn't actually do the 90 because of how they sculpted the shirt, and it does hide the joint better, but it also makes it less articulated. Then, of course, you have same wrist swivel. Then you have a waist swivel, universal at the hip, that's a lot freer, a lot easier to use, a thigh cut, and a deep knee. And you also have a ball joint at the ankle, gives you a little bit of pivot. So definitely you have a lot more points of articulation. You have better paint. I do like the shiny gold on the buttons. And it is a taller figure. If we were to pull in, I don't know, I'm trying to think, what is the figure I have that I can compare it to right here? If we were to pull in a deluxe Transformer, as you can see, Mario is closer to being maybe 5 inches tall, whereas the other Mario is closer to maybe 4 inches. So if you wanted to build a multi-series display, or even a Smash Bros. Display, that Mario would probably fit a lot better, just because it is more detailed, it is a bit larger, and the articulation does work a little bit better. Taking a look at the Luigi's next, and it's very much the same story. I think that Luigi actually does come out better than the Mario from the games, just because the paint is a lot sharper. This was a newer release of Luigi, as well as the articulation was always just a little bit better. So you still have the waist, or the swivel at the head, universal at the shoulder, still the 90 degree at the elbow, and the swivel at the wrist. His hips are a lot less restricted, but you still can't get that far out, and you have a pretty deep knee. So, same number of points in the same spots as Mario, but because he's a more slender build, he was able to make better use of it. Taking a look at Movie Luigi, and of course you have swivel at the head, universal at the arm, but it does not actually have the farther up like Mario did. He does, however, have a better elbow, because he has the less bulky arm. So, he is both better and worse in the arm than Mario is. And of course you have the wrist swivel, you have the swivel at the waist, you have the outward at the leg, the same thigh cut, oh, don't fall on me, Luigi, and of course, the knee and the shoe. So, once again, these guys are a lot more articulated. With Luigi specifically, because with the Marios, their head sculpts were very similar. With Luigi, they have changed his design a little bit more to make him more distinct from Mario and thinned out his face a good bit more. I like it, but it is different enough to where I could see a case being made that this Luigi looks a lot less like that Luigi than the Marios look like each other, if that makes any sense. With all that said, time for the big question, do I think they're worth it for $20? Yes. I think that they're worth it in a very different way than something like a Mattel Elite or a Marvel Legends is worth $20, but I do think that they are worth the money. And I also am genuinely excited for the movie. I'm a huge Mario fan. I'm always going to be biased, and maybe I'm being blind here by that same nostalgia and biasness. But I think they're really well done figures with a really cool gimmick with the eyes, and am excited to see how the movie turns out now.